Hi guys, welcome to ValZenDen. My name is Valerie. I have been wanting to film this video for such a long time. I know that I have mentioned it in a couple of my videos, but it has been, I'm pretty sure it's been over a year since I filmed this video, and I'm gonna do an updated ranking of my Lacquer seasonal collections. I'm only doing like the 6 collection ones that are like mostly permanent. I didn't do any of the collabs or anything like that. Since it's been a while since I did it, a lot of collections have come out, so it is long overdue and it's literally like tripled in size. I am gonna mention that I will do an updated trio ranking as well, and I think I'm gonna do a quad also in one video, so look out for that video. And like always, please let me know what your ranking is. Alright, I'm gonna scooch to the side. It makes me feel so bad for placing this one as last place because this one was my last place in my first video, and unfortunately it's gonna have to be the Sweet as Summer collection. Sweet as Summer, I think it came out in 2020, I believe, and I remember being absolutely obsessed with that collection because it is like the perfect rainbow juiciness collection that we all needed. But I just don't feel like I use any of them anymore. I don't ever gravitate towards them, even though they were like my go-to at the time. So many polishes have come out since then, so I just feel like they don't call out to me as much as they did before. So I had to go back and rewatch my old video, and I noticed that I ranked the polishes in itself within this ranking of the collection, so I'm gonna do that again. I honestly think my first place is gonna have to go to Who Loves Orange Soda. Surprisingly, out of the whole collection, I just feel like this orange is so beautiful. Obviously my number 2 is gonna have to go to Now and Later. It is such a beautiful vibrant neon green. My third place is gonna have to go to Berry. I feel like that blue is so juicy and rich. It's beautiful. I love Berry. The fourth place is gonna have to go to Cherry Jelly. I know this is like Kathleen's favorite polish and it is truly beautiful. I know that using this like 1 or 2 layers is gorgeous. I don't have long nails, but if I ever do acrylics, I would definitely consider doing this color. My fifth place, which I don't think they sell anymore, is gonna be Slice of Life, which is the yellow one. It is such a pretty vibrant yellow as well. And my last place is gonna have to go to My Jam. I just never really used My Jam like that, so yeah, it's gonna have to be my last place. So I did count 18 collections, so this would be my 17th place. My 17th place would have to go to the Sugar Shop, and I honestly didn't realize how much I didn't use this collection until I did this video, and it makes me so sad because it is such a cute and adorable winter Christmas collection. So in my mind, this should have been up higher, but for some reason it is really low, and I just think that only a couple of polishes from the collection really called my attention. I think my first place is gonna have to be Clara, which is now called Frostbite. I just think that is literally the perfect snow nail polish. I still to this day haven't seen the snow, but it feels to me like it is how the sun shines on the snow. It is white obviously, but it has like bluey glitteriness to it, so that's what Clara or Frostbite kind of reminds me of. I think my second place is gonna have to be Peppermint Patty. I am obsessed with those type of polishes. Like, it is such a beautiful bluey minty green. It is perfect for the winter, so that is my number 2. My number 3 is gonna have to be Everlasting Gobstopper. I just think it is such a cool green and it is very different from anything we have. So my 5th place, which makes me sad because I actually really like this polish, is gonna have to go to Candy Girl. I am just not a huge pink person, but this pink, it is so beautiful because it is a very delicate pink, very pastel-y and soft. And my 5th place is gonna have to go to Toot Sweets. I never really gravitated towards Toot Sweets, so I think that is why she's so low on the category, but it is a very cool like pinky red hybrid polish. And then my last place is gonna have to go to Gingerbread. If it wasn't for swatches, I never really looked at Gingerbread. I don't know why, it wasn't just my type of polish, so that's why it is in the last place. Okay, so I think this one's gonna be super controversial because it literally just released, but I'm gonna be placing Your Nails But Better 3 out here, the shears one. And I know it's kind of crazy, but I know myself, and first of all, I'm not really into like super sheer jelly kind of polishes, and 2, I am not a very pale or like nude kind of person, so I knew that this wouldn't be like in my top 5 or 10, so I just decided to go ahead and place it at number 16. The PR package that I got is one of my favorite ones that I've ever received, and it is such a cool idea, and I feel like this collection is very popular. And I recently did a collection video, so if you guys want to go check it out, I'll leave the little stamp thingy here so you guys can go ahead and watch it. So I think my first place is gonna have to go to Miss Wheeler. I just love that polish and it's so beautiful. My number 2 is gonna have to go to Miss Darling. I still love that polish. I don't know what it is. It's so pretty and soft, and I think Kathleen said that that is like the most popular one so far, so there you go. So in my number 3 and 4, it's gonna be a fight between Mrs. Potts and Mrs. Jones. I like Mrs. Jones because it is a lot more like darker, so it might be my number 3, and then it would have to be Mrs. Potts. It is a very like a pale white kind of color, but it is so beautiful. I think my number 5 is gonna have to go to Miss Bennett. I really do like that color because it is described as like a purple kind of brown, so that is very cool. And then my last place, unfortunately, is gonna have to go to Mrs. Robinson. I just don't see myself using that one as much as the other ones. Okay, so my number 15 is gonna have to go to When in Romance. This one was such a pretty collection at the time. It was a very romance themed polish collection, and it's still very beautiful. I really liked the case that it came in. It was just like the PR thing where Kathleen would always say like, this is where you can put your love letters and all that stuff. So I think my favorite one from this collection is gonna have to be At Last, because I just love the undertone of that blue. I don't know what it is. On the website it shows the description and everything, but it has like a, I don't know if it's like a greeny kind of dark background to it, but it is the most beautiful blue, so I really like that one. I think my second one is gonna be Mia, or Amor it's called now, and it's just a beautiful dark pink kind of color, even has a little tint of brown, so that is a gorgeous pink. My number 3 and number 4 again are like fighting with each other because I really love A Temporary Madness and Will Always Have Paris. I just don't know which one I like more. I might put A Temporary Madness first just because I love that mustardy yellow, and then I'll put Will Always Have Paris because it is just like a timeless classic polish. My 5th place is gonna have to go to Yours Truly, which I don't think they even sell anymore, but it was a very cool olive toned like white off-white nail polish. It was very unique, and I'm kind of sad it's not there anymore, but I do still have the old one with the old bottle and everything. And then my last place is gonna have to go to Venus, and it makes me mad because I know it is a very pretty pink because it has like a golden shimmer to it. I never really gravitated towards it, and unfortunately I don't think they even sell it anymore either. I am so sorry if I've had a lipstick in my teeth for the past couple of collections or not. I had no idea. I just ran to the bathroom and they're just, I had to clean them up a little bit. So I'm really sorry I didn't notice. Just ignore that. All right, moving on to my number 14. It is gonna have to be Your Nails But Better 1, and it makes me sad because that is the OG Your Nails But Better, but like I mentioned before, I don't really gravitate towards nude polishes like that, even though they are one of the most beautiful ones they've ever released. But anyways, I think my favorite polish from that collection is Aliana, which is now called Tiramisu. Most of the girl names have changed, so I'm just gonna mention both of them because I know it could be really confusing. So yeah, Aliana or Tiramisu is my number 1. I think my number 2 is gonna have to be Matilda, or aka Cookie. I just think it's such a beautiful sandy white, off-white kind of color. My number 3 is gonna have to be Lila, or Bonbon. I just think it's a very pretty cool toned kind of color. So my 4 and 5 is gonna have to be like kind of a tie between Mila and Olivia, aka Cannoli and Brownie. I might like Olivia or Brownie a little bit more, so okay, I guess I'll place that one at number 4, and I'll place Mila or Cannoli on my number 5, and my last place is gonna have to be Churro, aka Emma. Okay, so my number 13 is gonna have to go to the very first polish collection that they've ever released, which was Girl Power. I love the whole aesthetic of that, just like from browns to greens to blues to blacks. I just think it's such a pretty cool color story. My favorite one from this collection, 100,000,000%, is gonna have to be Hefa. I just feel like that sagey green is so beautiful, and I know a lot of people love that polish. My number 2 is gonna have to be Girl Power. That is such a pretty polish. I'm so sad it is discontinued because it was such a beautiful, fun, glittery, shiny polish ever. So if you guys can get your hands on it somehow, I definitely recommend it. My number 3 is gonna have to be Woman. I just think it is such a gorgeous, rich blue polish. And my number 4 is gonna be Head Bitch in Charge. I love black polishes, and having a little bit of silver metallic-y in it, I I love it. My number 5 is gonna have to be 11. Even though it is not like my most used polish, I think it is a very cool and unique color. And then Rosy or Mama Lights is gonna be the last place because it's the one that I use the least out of this whole collection. Okay, so my number 12 is gonna have to be Your Nails But Better Part 2. I feel like I like this one more than the other collections. There's only one polish that I actually don't really like from this collection, but the rest I love. So my absolute favorite polish from this collection is Iced Latte, which used to be called Cecilia, and I don't know, the moment I saw it I felt like it was gonna be my favorite, and I just love how like beigey sand it is. It is the most beautiful polish in this collection in my opinion. I think my number 2 is gonna have to go to Americano, which used to be called Julia. I just love the richness and the chocolatiness of that polish. It is beautiful. So my third place is gonna have to go to Thea, aka Cappuccino. I feel like at the beginning I didn't really like that polish because it was so similar to my skin tone, but the more that I used it and swatched it, I grew to fall in love with it, and it is a very, very pretty polish. My fourth place is gonna have to go to Espresso, aka Isabella. This one is also a very pretty red toned kind of brown, so I think it's super unique to Lights Lacquer, and that's why I love it so much. My fifth place is gonna have to go to Oat Milk, which is called Aurora. I'm just not a super pale kind of polish person, so that one is gonna have to be my number 5. And the one that I like the least from this collection that almost kind of ruined it in this whole ranking is Affogato, aka Nora. That is the one that I least likely am to use, so that is why she's in the last place. I'm almost in my top 10, but my number 11 is gonna have to be Funhouse. Just by the title you can tell it is a very fun collection. So for ranking, automatically number 1 is gonna be Letty, or it is now known as Bearded Lady. It is the most fun, beautiful, vibrant teal green color. It is amazing, and like that is the best polish from that whole collection. My number 2 is gonna be Tightrope. It is such a beautiful purple that I know so many people fell in love with it, and it truly deserves all the love it gets. My number 3 is gonna go to Big Fish. I feel like this is one of the first hollow polishes, if I'm not mistaken, that they have come out with, and it is a true hollow. It is beautiful. If you apply it and put like a clear top coat over it, oh my god, you're gonna get so many compliments on it. So if you want a hollow, definitely consider that one. My number 4 is gonna have to go to Coney Island, and it's super surprising to me because I am not a very yellowy kind of person, but that one is just like such a cool mix of orange and yellow, because to me it's not just a yellow, it is like an orange yellow, so it is in between, and it's like kind of a mango-y kind of yellow orangey color, so it is so pretty. My number 5 is gonna have to go to We Go Together. It is the other hollow in the collection, and it is the pink one, so they both create like a pretty cotton candy kind of look. It is gorgeous, so don't think that it's not because it's this low. I just like the other ones way more. And number 6 is gonna have to be That's the Ticket, and I feel like I'm gonna get heat for this, but just like yellowy pink nude colors, I'm not much of a red polish person either, so that is why she's like super down. But this one is one of the most unique reds Lights Lacquer has ever come out with, because it is like a red orange hybrid. So if you're looking for a very unique red, definitely check this one out. All right, so we are officially in the top 10, which is so nerve-wracking because making this list took me forever. I didn't know what to pick because I like them all so much for their own reasons, but whatever. This is the top 10. So the number 10 collection on my list is gonna have to go to Kat's Diner, and I just remember being so excited when this came out because by this point I was already blessed enough to get PR. So I remember seeing the PR and it looked like a little takeout box, and I got so excited because I am a history nerd, so that just gave me all the 50s, 40s, 50s, 60s diner vibes, so I was so happy about that. And then when I saw the green polish, I freaked out. I did a first reaction thing on my Instagram and TikTok if you guys want to go check it out. I know that a lot of people have been asking for pastels, so I think they killed it when it came to this collection. Okay, so obviously my favorite color in this whole collection is 52 Chevy. This is like the green that I've been wanting for a while. It was like a grass pastel kind of green. It is just such a happy, vibrant green. All right, but my number 2 is just as gorgeous. It's called Jukebox Baby. Oh my gosh, that one almost beat 52 Chevy to its spot. All right, so my number 3 is gonna have to go to Order Up. I love peachy, corally kind of colors like this, and I love love Mame, I love Let Them Eat Cake, so this one kind of went into that category in family of orangey polishes. So when I saw it, I'm like, I love it, and it is just so beautiful. Okay, so my number 4 is gonna have to go to Easy as Pie. I remember reading the description for this polish and loving it because it says it's like a pastel blueberry color, and blueberry is like my favorite fruit ever, so that made me love it even more. And just the polish in itself, it is the most beautiful pastel-y blue. Okay, my number 5 is gonna have to go to Frenchie, and this one is a very unique pink. I don't know what it is, it just is super unique, and I know a lot of people loved it, so Frenchie is my number 5. And last place is gonna have to go to Banana Split, just because that is probably the one that I use the least, but it is still a very pretty pastel-y yellow. All right, so my number 9 is gonna have to go to Flow On, which was one of the most fun summer collections I've ever seen. It is just like so fun and vibrant and neon. I think this was the first time she introduced like a really neon polish, so I think that's why it was so successful and like hyped up. So absolutely 100% my favorite polish from this whole collection is Send Noodles. This one is probably still to this day my favorite blue polish ever of all lights lacquer, so if you want to get a really fun blue, definitely check out Send Noodles. My number 2 is gonna have to go to Bruce Cruz. I am obsessed still to this day with that polish. It is the most fun, blurple, shimmery kind of color. My number 3 is gonna have to go to Mr. Brightside, which for some reason I feel like it is being discontinued. I don't know why, because that is one of their best oranges ever, so if it's not discontinued, please let me know, because you guys need to get your hands on Mr. Brightside. My number 4 is gonna have to go to Bikini Bottoms. We were all so surprised by that polish because I don't think we've ever seen a neon from Lights Lacquer before, and that one is just the most fun, beautiful green yellow polish. So for my 5th and 6th place is gonna have to like be a tie with Donna and Skip It. Well, Donna is now called Hot Stuff. I just don't know which one I like more. It's very hard to pick because Donna or Hot Stuff is like a true Barbie pink, but Skip It has such a cool like magenta color to it, so I don't know which one I like the most, so they're a tie. Okay, so my number 8 is gonna have to be It Was All a Dream. I think this one was my first like collection because there was barely any collections at that point, and it makes me sad that this is so low because it was literally my number 1 in my other video, but this one is still one of the polish collections that I think is so well made, and if it's this up high after existing for so long, then that should say something. So one of the best polishes that came out of this whole collection is Secret Garden. Till this day, it is one of my favorite greens. It's just the most beautiful pastel-y sage green, and there is a debate, if you guys didn't know, in the Lights Lacquer community that it is a blue polish, not a green one, so it is a little weird, but it's a green one to me, so that is like my favorite polish from the collection. Surprisingly, my number 2 favorite is gonna be Let Them Eat Cake. I didn't think this would be one of my favorite ones, but after applying it, I would use it all the time when it came out. I would use it on my toes, on my hands. I was in love with this polish. It is still so beautiful, and like I said, I do love those orangey kind of polishes, so I am sticking with it. It is my number 2 of my ranking. Okay, so my number 3 is gonna have to go to Lilac Wine. At the beginning, I was a little hesitant because it is like a jelly formula, but when you add a couple layers, it does build up a lot and quick, so it does become a very beautiful pinky kind of lavendery polish. Okay, so my 4th place is gonna have to go to Marie, or I think it's called macaron. I don't know how to say it. So that is my 4th place. It is just a very beautiful pink jelly, but it's not as much as a jelly as the new ones that have come out, but it is still like a very pretty warm pink. My 5th place is gonna have to go to One of Your French Girls, and I find myself using that so much with comparing to other polishes. It always comes up somehow, so I feel like it is a very like popular type of color, but it is still very classic and beautiful. And my last place is a polish that doesn't really exist anymore. It got discontinued a while back, and that one is called 99% Angel, which is basically like a large glittery nail topper. I just put this last place because this one I used probably the least out of everything. I obviously used it mostly for putting on top of another polish, but using it on its own, I didn't really use it like that. All right, so my number 7 is actually Honey Do You Love Me. I feel like so many iconic polishes came from this collection that we still talk about to this day. Surprise, but my number 1 is actually gonna be Mame. I just fell in love with that polish. It is just like an orangey coral kind of polish, and I just fell hard for it that I'm surprised it is is my number one because I am obsessed with greens, but I feel like I might choose that one over Melancholy, which is my number two. Maybe the reason why Melancholy is so low is because it is more of a jelly finish, but even though you could still build it up a lot and it'll be a normal polish. But yeah, Melancholy is my number two. I think my number three is one of the most prettiest blues that have come out of Lights Lacquer, and it is Forget Me Nots. I don't know what it is about it. It is just such a pretty vibrant blue, so that is also one of my top recommendations if you're looking for a fun blue polish. So I am really stuck with 4 and 5. I don't know whether to put Lavender Rain or Delilah. I think now it's called Soulmate. I don't know which one to put where because I like them both equally, and I might use Lavender Rain a little bit more, but I also use Delilah or Soulmate, so I don't know. Those are just gonna stay there in the 4th and 5th place. And my number 6 is gonna have to be Here Comes the Sun, just because it is a topper, so it is not like an actual polish that I can just put on its own. I usually put it over a lot of other polishes, but it is still one of the prettiest toppers we've ever gotten. All right, we're getting closer. My number 6 is gonna have to be Bienvenidos, which came out super recently. This is like the perfect tropical Miami kind of collection. This one just reminds me of being at the beach, going on a cruise, being on an island. Like, it is the perfect summer tropical collection. So obviously my number one is gonna have to be Tranquila y Tropical. That green is like so amazing. It is definitely on top of some of the greens that have come out in Lights Lacquer. It is just like the perfect tropical green. My number 2 is gonna have to go to Hide the Rum. I just think that orange is so gorgeous and neon and fun. It is perfect for the summer. This one really caught me by surprise, and I honestly do not remember how I ranked this collection, so if you guys want to check out that video, it's gonna be somewhere here. But I think my number 3 is gonna be Girl from Ipanema. I just fell in love when I swatched that polish because it is the most beautiful, like soft but fun Barbie pink. I don't know what it is. I fell in love with it. I'm not even a super pink person, and that one just like stole my heart, so that says a lot about this polish. Okay, so my number 4 is gonna have to go to Down in Kokomo. It just feels like very oceany, green blue ocean water with a lot of shimmer on it. It is a very cool and unique polish to Lights Lacquer, so if it wasn't for the other ones, this one would have been a lot higher. So for 6th and 5th place, I don't know which one to put where because I feel like these are the two that I use the absolute least from this whole collection, which is Baloo and Copacabana. The only reason I feel like Baloo is this low is because it is super sheer, like probably the most sheerest polish we have in Lights Lacquer, and it is like with the blue tint, so if you want to build it up, it's gonna take a while, so that's why maybe it's this low. But at the same time, I don't really use Coral Cabana. Did I call it Copacabana? I'm so sorry. But yeah, I don't really use Coral Cabana, even though it is a beautiful neon pink and it is perfect for the summer. I don't know, that's like kind of up in the air, so I'll just leave it at that. I can't believe we are on the top 5. So my number 5 is gonna have to go to the Zodiac collection. I know a lot of people were not happy about their sign polish, but a lot of people were. I mean, I really loved my Virgo. I know some of you didn't like your sign, and that makes me so sad, but there is so much to choose from, and I feel like this one is so up high because of that reason. This one has like the biggest variety of colors, of finishes, of shimmers, of everything. It has a little bit of everything, so I feel like this one is so up high in my list. So obviously my favorite polish from this whole collection is gonna be Virgo, and it just so happens to be my sign. It is just like such a interesting teal black kind of polish, and they absolutely killed it, so I'm super proud of my sign. I think my number 2 is gonna have to go to Aquarius, just because I am obsessed with shimmers, and I had this exact polish when I was a kid, and that's the one that I would use all the time on myself, so it just threw me back to that, and that's why I think is gonna go for number 2. So my number 3 I think is gonna have to go to Capricorn. I just fell in love with the fact that it has like a golden green shift to it with a black undertone. I just love it so much. All right, so my 4th place is gonna have to go to Taurus, but I just love that like mid-toned kind of green. I don't even know how to describe it. I remember putting it all over my hands, and I just fell in love with it. It is so beautiful. I think my number 5 is gonna have to go to Leo. I fell in love with the hybrid of like coral with pink and orange and like a bunch of shimmer, so I think it's one of the prettiest ones in this whole collection as well. Okay, so my number 6 is gonna have to go to Sagittarius. I love that purple, and it just has like such a pretty glittery shift. I love Sagittarius. Okay, so my 7th place, I think I'm gonna have to give it to Cancer. I love how soft but like light this polish is. I feel like it's such a good Cancer color, and I love that it has like a very slight shimmer at the end of the polish, so I think it was like a very well made polish for that sign. Okay, so my 8th place is gonna have to go to Scorpio. I think it is just the most beautiful dark color. I feel like it embodies a Scorpio so well, and I love how it's like a red purpley blend, so I'm just obsessed with it. Okay, so I think my number 9 is gonna have to go to Libra. I love how cute and like pink glittery it is. It is very unique from this whole collection, so I really like it despite of it being this low, but trust me, I do like it. Okay, so my number 10 is gonna have to go to Pisces. This one is not up higher because there are similar-ish kind of polishes to Pisces, but it is still a beautiful bluey green kind of polish. My number 11 is gonna have to go to Aries. It is a very fun red pink kind of hybrid, so I really like that, but like I said, I do like the other ones a little bit better. And my last place, I'm so sorry to my Geminis, but it's gonna have to go to Gemini. I just don't really gravitate towards this color, but when I do see it in person, even if it's not light lacquer, but I do see a color similar to that, it just reminds me of how much I should like use it, but maybe in my nail poles one day. All right, so my number 4, if you guys haven't heard me talk about it, but I'm gonna have to give it to Polished Gems. I know it is one of the OG collections and a lot has come out since, but I still really like this polish, and it might be a little biased because it is the first polish that I ever purchased from them, so that is why she is my number 4, but I really like this polish collection. If you guys know me, if you have been to this channel, you already know my number 1 is gonna be Emerald. That is the most beautiful green polish ever. It has the perfect little tint of teal. It is still green, but it does have a little tiny bluey kind of shift to it, and I love it that it's creme. It would have been beautiful too if it was shimmer, but I love it exactly how it is, and I pray to Jesus that they never discontinue it. Please guys, like I'm telling you, if you want a beautiful deep green, get Emerald. Okay, so my number 2 is gonna have to go to Alexandrite, and this one is the one that's being discontinued, which I don't understand. This polish is one of the coolest polishes in light lacquer, so I really don't get it, but if you guys have it, you know what I'm talking about. It is a pretty sheer polish, but you can build it up super high, and it is so beautiful, like a purpley blue kind of shift, and I'm so sad it's being discontinued. Like, I don't know why, but if you have it, if you can get it before it's gone forever. I think I'm gonna have to give my 3rd place to Smoky Quartz, just because we don't have enough grays in light lacquer, and this one is very unique because it is a gray, but it has like a brown kind of shift to it, but it is still so gorgeous. If you guys didn't know, I do nail poles on Instagram and here on my YouTube communities. Whenever my nail cracks, which I'm gonna do next, I give you guys the option to choose the nail polish for me, and I go by categories of like reds, orange, yellow, so on. This one won the gray one that I did previously, and I have the pictures on Instagram and here on YouTube communities, and it just made me fall in love with it again. So if you guys can get your hands on it, definitely I recommend it. Okay, so my 4th place is gonna have to go to Amethyst. They actually reformulated the formula, so it has a ton of more glitter on it. If you guys have the old one and the new one, you can see the difference. I don't mind the new one. I thought the old one was really pretty too, but I can see why they changed it to the new formula. If you guys love purples, if you guys like shimmers, I highly recommend Amethyst. Okay, so the last 2 polishes, it doesn't exist anymore, but I think my number 5 is gonna have to go to Ruby, and I don't understand why it didn't get enough hype because it was a very cool polish. It was a very dark red and it had like shards of ruby. I'm just glad I still have it with me because I know that I'm probably never gonna get another one. And then my 6th place is gonna have to go to Citrine. It was super cool yellow with like kind of large chunks of glitter. It was a very pretty polish, and FYI, if anybody is seeing this from the team, I honestly think you guys should do a Polished Gems part 2. Okay, we're in the top 3. My number 3 that I have loved since I saw it, it is gonna have to be the holiday special. I saw it and I immediately fell in love with it. I just felt like it was such a cohesive collection. It was the definition of Christmas. So my number 1 obviously is gonna have to be Hoping to Be Kissed. I have said it so many times before, but it is literally like applying a Christmas tree on your nails. It is a deep forest green with a ton of rainbowy kind of glitters, and it is so beautiful. It is one of the prettiest greens that they've come out with, so I'm so happy it still exists on their website. Okay, so my number 2 is gonna have to go to Misfit Toys. It is like such a beautiful light baby blue, kind of almost white-ish, and I just feel like that is such a true Christmas color as well. If you guys can get this whole collection, I suggest you do it regardless of what my ranking is. You guys are not gonna be disappointed. I think I'm gonna have to put Fuzzy Socks as my number 3. It is just the definition of Christmas spirit. It is so glittery, it is so happy, so fun. The last 3, I have no idea. I think 1952 aka Lucy is gonna go last place just because I like the other ones a little bit more, but I don't know where to put my 4th and 5th place because it is I'm All Toasty Inside and I'll Be Home. To be honest, I think I'm gonna put I'm All Toasty Inside as number 4 just because this polish deserves more love, and hopefully it's still not discontinued, but it is the most beautiful champagne-y polish with a really fine rainbowy finish. It is absolutely magical, and if you guys love polishes like that, I highly recommend it. And then obviously my 5th place is gonna go to I'll Be Home, which it deserves to go up higher, but I can't pink. All of these are so beautiful, and I will say that this one does dry matte, so just beware of that, but you guys can obviously put like a glossy clear finish on top and it is just gorgeous. Okay, my number 2. This whole ranking is insane to me, and it made me realize my favorite ones, which I didn't even think they were my favorite ones. But anyways, my number 2 is gonna have to be Who Did It. I'm a fall fairy. I love my fall collections, so I'm kind of not surprised it's this up high, but I'm still kind of surprised it's this up high. I just think the collection as a whole screams fall, except for like one color maybe. My 1st place is gonna have to go to A Mysterious Affair. I feel like I ranked it as my number 1 on my video as well, so go check it out. I'm just obsessed with these kind of like rusty brick kind of colors, and this one is a little bit more orangey than like a brick red, but it still is in that same family, and it just made me completely fall in love with it. So yeah, I highly suggest this one too. Okay, so obviously my number 2 is gonna have to go to For the Thrill. I think I described this one as like Emerald's hot brother or something like that. When you compare these two, which I have in the past, if you want to look through my Instagram feed, I compared this one to Emerald, and you can tell how a little bit more of a blue tone Emerald is, and this one is a true forest green, so I am obsessed with this polish. It is beautiful. Okay, so my 3rd place is gonna have to go to Cold Case. Like I said before, I feel like we don't have enough grays and light lacquers, so I got so excited when I saw that we got a gray in this collection, and obviously you guys can add like a pretty topper and it'll make it a little bit shimmery, and I just feel like that would look gorgeous. But yeah, Cold Case is my number 3. My 4th and 5th place are kind of like mixed. I really like Midnight Train and The Butler. I just don't know what to pick, and I feel like I had the same struggle in my original video, so nothing has changed honestly. I don't know. I like Midnight Train because it's like a dark wine red and I love that, but I also like The Butler because it's a very pretty like orangey brown, so I don't know. And obviously last place is gonna have to go to Adeline, or aka Clueless. I just feel like that one is the only polish that I feel like is kind of out of place in this whole collection, even though it is pretty and it's probably the most popular polish ever from Light Lacquer. Alright, and my number 1, which is insane to me, I didn't even consciously know this was my favorite one, but it is gonna have to go to Cocktail Hour. You guys cannot tell me this collection is not gorgeous. So beautiful, so well thought of. It makes so much sense it being all together. Okay, but I think my 1st place is gonna have to go to the Nines, just because this is a very cool mixture of greens, like metallic-y golden shimmer. It has so much to it that I fell in love with it, but I like the other ones too, but I just feel like this one is such a cool polish. Okay, my number 2, I think it's gonna have to go to Whiskey Neat. I just love it for the same reason. It just has so much to the polish. It is like a coppery polish, but it has like little flakes of teal, which I love that color combination so much. So my number 3 is gonna have to go to Old Money. That color is just, it just speaks for itself. It is so beautiful. One of the prettiest greens that has come out of Lights Lacquer, and that just goes to show why I like this collection so much. And it just gives it such a mature Christmas vibe, and I think that's why I like it so much. I think my number 4 is gonna have to go to Audrey, or aka Miss Hepburn. It is a very dark purple, but I feel like it was very much missing from Lights Lacquer, and I still feel like there's some purples that are missing from Lights Lacquer, but I got so happy when we got this one because I really love dark polishes, and this one is gorgeous. It is just like the most beautiful dark purple, so that is why she's up there. Okay, so my number 5, which if some of the other ones didn't exist, it would have been way up higher, and my number 5 is gonna have to go to Diamonds Are Forever. This polish is chef's kiss. It is one of the prettiest polishes that has come out of Lights Lacquer, and that's why I think this collection is so up high, because I really like all of them. But yeah, Diamonds Are Forever are a must-have, and I think when it came out it completely sold out. I think it's available again now, but I love that polish. It is so classic, and classy, elegant. It is beautiful. And my last place is gonna have to go to Lady in Red. It makes me so sad because this red is probably really up high in my red category, which maybe I'll do that video again, like an updated part 2 type of thing like I'm doing with this one. I just like it how it's kind of muted and it's not so loud like the other reds. So yeah, that is my full collection and ranking. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I had so much fun making it. Please look out for the trio quad ranking because I know a lot of them have come out since, so definitely pay attention to that. I hope you guys enjoy this video, and please let me know what your ranking is. If you guys didn't know, I do have an affiliate link and code with Lights Lacquer, so it would mean the world to me if you guys were to use that. I love you guys so much, and I will see you on the next one.